to How to Be a Money Magpie, the podcast from MoneyMagpie.com. I'm money expert Jasmine Birtles, the founder of MoneyMagpie, and this podcast series takes a similar approach to money to the website. In other words, it puts money in its place. It gets it sorted quickly and with minimum fuss so that you can go and get on with your life. We're also big believers in sharing the money we have. As I like to say to anyone who'll listen, money is like manure. It only does good if you spread it around. Otherwise, it's just a stinking pile of mess. And today we're looking particularly at how to live for free, or almost for free, because we know that there are loads of free things and free experiences to be had every day. You can even get freebies from MoneyMagpie.com. More on that later. You just need to know where to look to get the great freebies. So to help me with this quest today, I have the man who literally wrote the book on freebies. It's Deepak Tailor, who's the founder and CEO of latestfreestuff.co.uk and Latest Deals. And he's also written a book on how to live for free. Hello, Deepak.
Hello. Hey, Jasmine. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you. Thanks for coming along here. And I'm also joined by Annie Thorpe, content editor at MoneyMagpie.com, who also knows quite a few ways to get things for free and is particularly good at picking out information from the site for us. Hello, Annie.
Hiya, how you doing?
Good, great to hear from you. So I'll start with you, Deepak. Now, you've written the book on living for free. What are some of the best things or experiences that you found for free?
Well, I think there's lots of ways to kind of get things for free, but it kind of goes from, you can get everything from kind of like get all your household products and electronics down to kind of cinema tickets and TV shows. So cinema tickets are something that's quite easy at the moment. So we're actually in the middle of a pandemic at the moment. So some of these things aren't open at the moment, but once they do open, there's lots of places you can get cinema tickets for free. The biggest kind of companies who do feature films, they actually have test viewings where they want people to watch the film to kind of give their feedback. Mm-hmm. And you can go to a website called See Film First and kind of get free access to these cinema tickets. And then there's other websites like Applause Store where you can kind of get free TV show audience tickets for the biggest and most popular shows across the BBC and the ITV. And then I think I was talking about electronics. So every kind of major brand in the UK have their own product testing panel. So Boots have their own product testing panel where you can kind of test their different products. Argos have their own one. Philips have their own one. So the kind of range of things you can get for free is quite wide.
So when you say range of things, so I could get a kitchen mixer, could I, or a microwave to test out?
Yeah, you could. So Argos is probably one of the biggest well-known product testing panels. So you sign up on their website, tell them about your interests and your demographics and where you live. And as long as you're selected for a trial and it kind of matches up with what the brand's looking for, then they'll give a limited amount and you might be lucky and kind of one will arrive on your doorstep. But you do need to kind of fill in a review about the product. And that's all they ask for in return.
Well, that's not bad. I'd do that if they'd have me. So that's the kind of issue. And I suppose, as you say, you apply, and if you fit the mold, then you get one.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So sometimes they have a broad range, sometimes they have a smaller range, but it really just depends on what kind of product it is.
Now, you run Latest Free Stuff. So what sort of freebies can you get on that? And is it free to join?
Yeah, it's completely free to join. So we're at latestfreestuff.co.uk. And what you do is you go to the website and we'll normally have the top 10 offers of the day. So you can come onto there and we'll actually show you what brands are giving out what. So today we had a free Chanel perfume in the morning.
Nice.
And then you had a free pack of Puka tea bags in the morning too. Some of these have run out now, but tomorrow we've got a free book about Christmas. So there's lots and lots of different things you can get, and all of it's kind of free postage. So there's really nothing to lose, but it does sometimes take up to kind of 28 days for things to arrive. So I would say about 3 to 4 weeks for things to arrive. But as long as you're kind of clicking on different things and ordering different things every day, eventually you'll get a few different things dropped through your letterbox.
Now, Annie, we've got a load of articles on moneymagpie.com about how to get free stuff. So tell me first about how to get free money, free actual money.
It's surprising, but free money does actually exist. If you're really struggling financially, which a lot of people are at the moment because of COVID in particular, the best thing that you can do is visit turntous.org and use their grant finder tool, because there are so many different types of grants out there. Even if you think that you might not be eligible, there are some very, very specific ones, such as you must be a vegetarian living in a certain county to apply. So there are lots of grants out there and lots of organizations offering free money for those who are struggling and who are in need. Or if, for example, you're a creative person and you want support to take time off work to write your book, the Society of Authors might fund you for a month with a bursary. So bursaries are another form of grant, which is free money. And obviously you've got benefits. That's one way if you're struggling, but also free money can come in other forms, such as if you have a lifetime ISA, for example, the government tops up your deposits by 25%. There are very strict restrictions on that, so it's only really suitable if you're saving for your retirement, particularly if you're self-employed, or if you are, for example, if you're a first-time home buyer saving up for your deposit, that's when you can release the money early, otherwise you have to wait until you're 60. However, that is a significant amount of money. If you save £4,000 a year, which is the maximum, based on opening it from the age of 18, which is when you can open it, all the way through to the last payment date, which is when you're 50, your money then sits there for 10 more years and it grows and grows and grows. And you get 25% each year on top of what you've paid in. And your money on that bonus grows and grows and grows over all of that time. And compound interest is the biggest, fastest, well, sometimes the fastest way to free money.
So if you put £4,000 in, you get an extra grand on top of that from the government free?
Every year, that's correct.
That's not bad, is it? And what about lost accounts?
Absolutely. There is a website called My Lost Account. So if you Google that, you'll be able to find a lot of your previous lost banking and savings accounts that you may have completely forgotten about. And I would suggest also doing that with a pension tracing service to make sure that you're not missing out on your future income by lost pensions.
Deepak, there's also free food. I mean, you've mentioned pucker tea bags. Have you personally tried some of the free food that's available through websites and other places? There must be all sorts of ways you can get free food, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. So if you use websites like us, I think lots of the biggest brands are always giving away free samples. So if you look at the kind of big food companies, I think we had Arla giving away free yogurt, but in the form of kind of coupons, which you redeem and then collect them at the supermarket. But then we also had kind of big brands like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They give away free bottles of Coke at kind of different times of the year. So there's a huge range of stuff. But if you don't want to kind of order things online, you can always get food at different events. So there's lots and lots of events on where you can kind of go to see something and they might provide free snacks or provide free food. So it's a great way of picking up dinner whilst you're around.
Yes, I find art previews are particularly good for that. I know people who do go to those when they're open, of course, in art galleries, and they always have very nice nibbles. So I know people who go and have their dinner there each evening, a different one. And Annie, we've got a load of articles on Money Magpie, of course, about how to get free stuff, but we've also got a load of actual freebies to give away. We've got some free guides and ebooks and that kind of thing. What have we got at the moment?
Oh, there's so many. The most recent one is one that we think is really important right now, and that's the Ultimate Personal Pension Guide. It's a 31-page ebook that helps you track down your old pensions and make sure that your money is working hard for your retirement. And there's a holiday guide and how to save on your travels. And we will be updating that as well to make sure it reflects all of the latest COVID restrictions. There's also the competitions, which are updated pretty much daily. So always check those.
Yeah, competitions are a great way of getting free stuff. There are people they call themselves compers, and there are comper magazines, comper websites. I mean, obviously we have competitions, as you say, every day we have a new competition on Money Magpie. They go out in our newsletter, but there are loads and loads of other competitions all over the place. And I see that there are people on social media who just look for the hashtag competitions or freebies. I mean, Deepak, that must be another good way of finding freebies, just going on social media and following the freebies and free stuff hashtags, surely.
Yeah, it's a really great way of finding freebies and competitions. All you need to do is kind of Google the brand, and normally they'll be running some kind of competition. And you'll find that some brands launch competitions every single day, as you said, MoneyMagpie do, but some brands even launch multiple competitions a day. So one of the kind of top tips is really just to kind of Google your brand and kind of fill in all the competition forms really quickly. But with the advent of technology now, with the kind of advanced browsers that we have and advanced phones that we have, some of them have technology built into them where you can fill in your name and address and kind of all the details on a form really quickly. So you can kind of zoom through all these competition forms really quickly and kind of increase your chances of winning.
Exactly. That sounds really good. And I've noticed with a lot of freebies, you have to buy something first or give the company a lot of information about yourself. Do you think these are still worth doing on the whole, or is it just not worth the hassle sometimes?
I always think it's worth doing as long as it looks like a reputable website and they have a kind of a good privacy policy in terms and conditions. What I'd always recommend to people is kind of setting up a second email address if they're unsure of what they're applying for. But on the kind of grand scheme of things, as long as it kind of looks like a reputable website and is a bit kind of brand that you know, then most times it's safe.
Annie, are there any warnings that you would give to people who are thinking, oh, there are all these freebies out there. I can now go and fill my home with freebies. Is there anything that you would warn people off of?
I think the main thing to be aware of is we strongly recommend that you set up a separate email address. Some people even have a separate SIM card, so a different phone number. And that just protects you from any potential scammers out there. Unfortunately, there are some, as there are always in life. But I think if you can do that, you'll protect yourself, and it also stops you from getting endless emails all day, every day. You can check it when you want to. I would also definitely go by the old adage of, if it sounds too good to be true, probably is. So always investigate and definitely look at reviews of websites. So for example, we trust the stuff that goes on latestfreestuff.co.uk because we know the site and it's a very reputable site. But there are some others that might not have such a great reputation, and they might just be basically taking your data and selling it on rather than being legitimate free stuff. So always check things like Trustpilot or Facebook reviews before you give your data to a company.
Good idea. And Deepak, have you noticed a drop off in freebies through the lockdowns, or are there actually more?
No, we've actually noticed a dramatic increase in the amount of people who are giving away freebies and samples. So kind of during the first lockdown, there was this big surge of people trying to help NHS staff. And they were giving away free samples to kind of help people out there. But what we've noticed kind of on our site is the kind of demand for these products have gone up quite high, but I guess it's because people are at home. So that's also come through from the brand side, where they've jumped on this bandwagon of trying to entice more users who are at home with all these cool different offers to kind of get them through the door to try their products.
Annie, how about the annual expensive events like birthdays, etc.? Are there any ways to do those for free?
Definitely. If not for free, then at considerably lower cost than I think we all spend at the moment. I would say that there are things like, you don't necessarily need to send greetings cards. You can send e-cards instead, and the sentiment is still there, and you're doing your bit for the environment as well. I would always say look for discount codes when you're shopping online, and make sure that you make the most of things like cashback sites as well, because even though you're spending the money up front, you can still get a little bit back for your purchase. So it all adds up over the year.
Great. There are in fact, I was going to say there were loads of ideas there for living for free. Anything that we've missed out, Deepak? Anything to do with travel? Oh, golly, one day we'll be able to travel. Hey, anything to do with holidays or fun and entertainment? You've mentioned cinemas, of course. Anything else that we can finish with?
So I think one of the kind of coolest, most innovative ways that I've kind of learned of someone traveling for free is actually using a website called findacrew.net. And what the kind of chap had done was leave from Southampton in the UK and actually join a crew, a multi-millionaire who actually owned a yacht and wanted to get his yacht from Southampton to the Bahamas. And he joined their crew for completely free and actually got paid for it to sail this yacht from the UK all the way to Bahamas, because their family was I think they were holidaying in the summer there, but obviously they didn't want to kind of take the long voyage across the seas to get there. So that's an innovative way to travel. And I think I'd actually met him in one of the countries that I was traveling, and he'd got halfway around the world without paying a penny. So
good for him. We can all dream. So that shows what's actually possible if you've got the chutzpah to do it. Now, if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you'll know that we always get ideas and thoughts from some of our money magpies, and today is no exception. Our producer Jenny has been speaking to Andy, an avid follower who is a bit of a freebie hunter himself.
So I'm a member of a few different websites. My most common kind of daily one is Hot UK Deals, which has a freebies page on it. Often on there, it's ebooks. So there's a lot of Amazon Kindle style ebooks that are available for free, even cooking books or anything to do with a new skill, or just sometimes even the first few days of a launch of someone's autobiography or something like that could be on there. So that's always a good source. Another one that comes up quite regularly is computer games that come up for free as well. So anything that's almost downloadable content, there's a chance that even something that's valued at like £30 odd, sometimes for 1 month or for 1 week, it will just be available free. It's often before the newer version of the game comes out or something like that. I'm a regular user of things like Quidco, so although you have to spend money to get money, there are occasionally situations where the cashback means that you hardly spend anything on the freebie itself. You can get massive cashback deals on certain things, insurances, things like that. I'm a big fan of avoiding depreciation in items. So, for example, furniture is a hugely depreciating item, but you can get a really nice piece of furniture secondhand, and often it stays worth the same value. Maybe not a sofa, which kind of wears out, but like a dining table, if you get a second-hand dining table, it can be worth exactly the same 5-10 years later as you paid for it. So essentially you've had it for free the whole time. You can't live for free, truthfully. There's certain things, I still have to pay for car insurance and road tax, and there's certain things you can't avoid. But for me, depreciation is the thing that I try and avoid the most. So I don't like buying things which are going to be worth a fraction of what I've just paid for them as soon as I've bought them. Facebook Marketplace and things like that now, obviously it's been a bit affected by lockdown and not wanting to come into contact with people unnecessarily and things like that. But what I have found is a lot of things that you think are junk are someone else's treasure. And I'm sure I'm that person for some people, but equally things that in the past I maybe would have just chucked away, I'll list them for free, and really 9 times out of 10 people take them. I think a lot of what's given away actually, and a lot of what's available, is unwanted gifts. Another thing that's got quite good through lockdown actually is kind of like free seminars and stuff like that through LinkedIn and things like that. So you can just go and listen to someone with like quite an interesting career, or like a job description that's kind of interesting to you, and listen to them talk. And if you're into that kind of thing, that might be something that normally you'd have to pay for to go and attend something. And then actually another good freebie that I will tell you about that I use is it's just for a bit of fun, but it's called Pick My Postcode. It's completely free. They pick a few postcodes each day for various different prizes, cash prizes. I haven't won on it yet, but it's something that's completely free, kind of risk-free as well. You jump on the website and you've got the chance of winning sometimes £500 if your postcode comes up. I do sometimes use this thing called Search Lotto as well, which essentially, when you do a Google search, I don't avoid doing the things that I love to save money, but I do try and find the way that I get the best value for doing what I want to do.
It's fascinating what he says about buying things and then selling them for the same amount. It's so true about buying secondhand, isn't it?
I'm a huge advocate of buying anything secondhand, particularly if you're not sure whether you want something. If you want a gadget, for example, and you've never had that gadget before, you're better off buying the secondhand version before you splash out on the high-end, top quality, brand new model, and then you know whether it's worth spending the money.
And Deepak, he also mentions joining free seminars and things like that. Do you have those on latest free stuff?
So we tend not to do too many digital things, just because people tend to want free products. But when you join these seminars, sometimes they actually give you a whole bunch of things. So I wouldn't ever kind of say no to it, but it would just depend what you're interested in. Because sometimes, especially during the lockdown period, we've had lots of kind of companies do seminars and actually give you a free product at the end of it. So it's always worth a try.
Worth it, definitely. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you for all the ideas you've given us. And also, Annie, thanks to Deepak Tailor and Annie Thorpe for that. And that's your lot from us today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And our handle is, of course, at MoneyMagpie. You can follow me too on Twitter at Jasmine and on Instagram at Jasmine Birtles. So if you have a story you'd like us to feature or you have a burning question, head over to our message boards and put it there. We'll get back to you ASAP. And in fact, put a question on any of the message boards, and not only will we answer it, but it might be picked up for the next podcast. We like to hear any of your fab money tips too. Today's episode was presented by me, Jasmine Birtles, and my guests were Annie Thorpe and Deepak Tailor, and the producer was Jenny Birtles. The music was composed for Money Magpie by Thomas Hewitt Jones.